Good morning, Linda Shelton. I see you're here. This is Lori. Linda, your video and sound is off right now. So if you'd like to unmute yourself and turn your video on, that's fantastic. Karen, I see you sitting over in the attendees. Good morning. We'll move you over at halftime or break time, whatever we want to call it. See if we can get her done. Hi, Linda. Can you confirm? Can you talk to us so we can hear you? You should have got an ask to unmute option.
She cannot be in front of her computer.
Oh, that's true. All right, well, we'll check back. I don't know if Linda's in front of her computer or not, but we'll do a technical check to make sure so she can keep the time.
Okay. Oh, there she is.
There you are. Hi, Linda.
Had to go get me breakfast.
Well, that is just fine.
Gary doesn't give you breakfast in bed?
Oh, yeah, right.
Here, I thought you were the queen bee.
Well, in certain areas, but not there. Andy, have you picked out an official shirt for us yet?
Working on it. You can wear red, you can wear black, you can wear silver. I have not got anything ordered yet. And if you'll notice, I have red on, Lori has silver on, and Barb 2 has black on, so.
Well, and I got red. I got lots of red in my closet. Plus a little purple, but I guess that's out of the question.
Yeah, so just make sure that when you do the fans with your, you put a little, get everybody's attention with the fans, almost like you were dancing with your red card and your yellow card.
Yeah, so Linda, are you okay with us testing your video real quick to make sure you're, can you turn your video on so we can see your beautiful face and your time cards?
Not on? Let me go see how. Yep. Okay, hang on.
Okay.
Hang on. She's going to appear on the screen here real soon.
I thought y'all could see me.
No, not yet.
Just hear you.
How do I do it?
Barb's gonna send you a request.
No, she's not, because she doesn't have.
I think if you go down to the bottom of your screen, you should see a little black bar down there. You should see participants. One next to it should be stop video or start video.
Oh, start. Says unable to start your video because the host has stopped it.
Okay.
Okay, hold on a second.
Oh shoot, we forgot the allow pin right there. Now send her an invitation.
Hello there.
There she is.
Hi, Linda.
Hello, baby girls.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. I'm up. I'm moving. That's a hallelujah. Now, what did you want me to do about the flags? Oops.
All right. Let me, I'll
Go ahead, work with her. We're unmuted, so.
Yeah.
I thought Joanne said.
Barb, I see you. Can you see me?
Yep, I can see you.
Yay. How you been doing, baby girl?
I'm good.
Well, I sure have missed y'all.
I know. Are you gonna come up and visit?
Someday.
Nice and hot and humid here.
Oh, well, that's nice and hot and semi-humid here. It's miserable. That's why I stay under the AC. Maybe in the fall.
Oh, it gets pretty muggy here too in the fall.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
Well.
sometimes.
So what's the best month to come see you? March, April?
Well, it just depends. Do you like rain? Do you like humidity? Or do you like snow?
Well, since I never get to see snow, maybe we should come up when it's snowing.
Maybe November?
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, this coronavirus stuff sucks.
Yeah.
Click over there. Oh, I see.
I'm trying to see what Lori has on.
You
If
what?
I need to go buy me one. I said, I'm trying to see what Lori has on to see if I need to go buy me one.
Oh, I just have an
Or so
ACI.
far. There you are.
I just have an ACI polo on right now.
Oh,
So I want to welcome Chris Seplack, John Holly. I see you guys sitting in the attendees, which is fantastic. So Chris, you'll be moved over to the panelists once we go from executive session to IBT. So thank you. Just hang tight as everybody loads in so we can have another
Lori?
wonderful session. Yes, ma'am.
did you want to tell me something about my flags?
Nope. That's all we needed to tell or see. We wanted to make sure we could see them just fine, and we can.
I mean, Andy wants you to do a dance with him.
It should have made them out of feathers. Oh.
Well, that's perfect, Linda. So if we have any issues with folks, then maybe we'll just mute them if they don't pay attention. We'll just shut them down.
Excellent.
Tom Smithson.
Hi, Tom. We see you.
I gotta get.
All right. So as we bring. And just a reminder, everybody that can hear me right now, we are streaming live to YouTube. I always like to keep that in everybody's mind. So don't get crazy.
Well, you just took all the fun out of it.
I know, I did. Well, we don't have to take the fun out of it, but.
You can get crazy if you want to. Just remember it's going to live on the internet forever.
That's right.
Oh, unfortunately, I already have some of those.
Oh, you're funny.
Is Tom Smithson going to be moved over?
Yes. Good morning, Pear.
Good morning. Good morning, Linda. How are you?
Up here.
How are things, Lori?
Good. We're good. We are powering through. I love this week, but it's a long week.
Yeah, no, I know it, but it fortunately only happens twice a year, basically.
Yeah. I had to wait. You know, sad thing is when I got home last night, I had to wake the dog up to let him know I was back. Okay.
My My dog was at the door.
Mike slept through it. He's like, you are late. He's like, I've already gone to bed.
Yeah. Although I have to say that having the meetings like this over Zoom beats the travel if you work.
Yes.
It's very personal. I really enjoy this as a way to get together. Morning, Andy.
Morning. Good morning.
And figured out how I can zoom in on me. Zoom me on this thing on Zoom. Can you zoom on Zoom?
You mean like have the screen only show the person speaking?
No, I'm trying to see. You're all nice and big. I'm kind of. You can see too much of my junk behind me.
Oh, I see. It's with the camera. That's probably a camera thing. That's because I'm close. I have a little camera on top of my screen there. And I'm sitting pretty close to the screen.
Well, I got to have my papers in front of me, so that's probably the reason. But thank you.
Yeah.
And now my internet is set. It's unstable, so I guess I better switch over to my hotspot.
All right, I want to welcome Richard Short
Jim Jones.
and Jim Johnson. I see you guys coming on the attendee side. Good morning.
Mike Sis.
Mike Sisk, I see you're coming on. And again, guys, just as a reminder, we are streaming live to YouTube. You will be in the attendee panel until the executive session is over, and then we'll move you over to panelists. We are on self-muting today, so if everybody can remember that.
Question, Lori. Can you hear my air conditioner? Is it interfering when I have the microphone on?
No, I want to know about your bird though one of these days.
Oh yeah, Grace.
But no air conditioner. Every once in a while I hear the bird, but that's it.
Yeah.
So you're good.
Yeah.
J. Tom.
Good morning, Jay. We see you coming on as an attendee.
Good morning.
Morning, Joanne. How do you, I tried to use that background here, and basically it doesn't think I have the right contrast behind me. So if I put that up, I literally become the invisible man. And I see it is like fractional, like part of it appears on my whiteboard behind me and I don't look all right. Do you have any, what do you have for color behind you on your real wall?
I have the back wall of my office, so clutter.
Clutter. But it seems to be really effective at presenting the image in your case. It's nice and crisp and the contours are good.
And
As panelists. Yeah. Good morning, Ty.
Good morning.
Beth.
Morning, Linda.
Good morning. How are you this morning?
I think somebody has two input devices next to each other.
It's taken care
there you go.
That was us. We apologize.
Oh.
We fixed it. Daggone you, Mandy.
Yeah. Now, how does that work? I don't know.
We don't know what we're doing.
Morning, Mona.
Morning.
Morning, Mona.
Morning, Mona.
Morning, everybody.
Morning.
Good morning, Mr. President.
Yeah. Thank you, past president. You know, Pip.
No, not a pip. Although I know one pip who thinks it should be an ip. I think
I haven't
that's
been
silly.
president yet.
What?
I said I haven't been president yet.
No, there's one, Andy, you know who I'm talking about, thinks it should be international past president. It's like whatever.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Oh,
there's-
well.
Happy, happy, happy.
Hi, Linda.
Yeah, that light doesn't work too well, Ty.
Yeah.
I mean, for this Zoom meeting.
Ready to kill
I'm sure it works good when you're in the trailer doing regular stuff.
We just have severe rain here right now.
Oh. Yeah, we're hoping to get rain here. It's been super dry and the town has banned all watering of everything. And they run around here like once a day, more often than the police, to check on people watering or not. And they
Well, it
find-
looks like this is coming across to you guys, so be prepared.
we need it. So please, come on.
It come down so hard that it ran off the ground, didn't even soak in. It's running right off just as fast as it came down. It needs to be a gentle rain.
Yeah.
Hey, excuse me, guys, I'm gonna jump in here. Bill Miller, we see you coming online, as well as Ken Johansson, Larry Madden, Michelle. I see you guys, RJ, I see you guys all on the attendees list, which is fantastic. So if you can just hang tight, you'll be there. The region presidents, you will be there until we move over into the IBT meeting.
The 617 number, is that Doug Hart?
So I see a 617. I believe that's Doug Hart. We're gonna unmute you for a second, Doug. I think if that's you.
Okay,
the
that's me. Thank you.
Okay, fantastic. We're gonna mute you and then rename you Doug Hart. Not really rename, but you know what I mean. Can you see what Jim Johnson means? Jim Johnson, I see your hand is up.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Hello. Oh, okay. That's all I wanted to know. This is the first time I've tried to use my iPhone. I'm using a public Wi-Fi. I just wanted to make sure you heard me okay. So go ahead and mute me back. I appreciate it.
Yes, you'll be muted, no video on the attendee side until the IBT meeting. Then we'll move you over as a panelist.
Yep, I understand that. I just wanted to make sure this thing was working so it wasn't a panic at the last second.
Yep. Sounds good too. You're coming through nice and clear.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thanks.
I know I have this up now. There, okay. It's not me, it's you.
Richard Short.
Hi, Richard. I see your hand up. What can we do for you, sir?
Just want to make sure, as Jim did, that you have audio on me and video.
Yes, we have, the audio is fine right now. We won't be able to test the video until we move you over to a panelist during the IBT.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Hi, Cecilia. I see you coming online. Jan, I see you as well. So thank you, ladies, for joining us this morning. Jane Carmichael, I see you as well. I see Bill Wild. Good morning.
Lori, do you have a way to check off people as they come up? Is there like a system for that, or is it just by remembering who you've seen before?
We're looking at a list of panelists.
We're looking at a list of panelists. Barb is actually taking attendance.
Okay.
And, you know me, I'm just the mouthpiece. Just saying.
No, but I
If
mean,
you-
on my screen, it's just sorted it's in no particular order. So I mean, some names appear in the middle of the list, and I wasn't sure whether you have if they sequence things as they appear in your list, that you go, everybody who comes to the bottom of the list are recent joiners to the meeting, or you just keep track of it other ways.
Yeah, well, we keep track of it other ways. What I've learned with Zoom is depending upon whose microphone has the most noise, like on the panelist side, we'll move to the top. Those who raise their hand will also move to the top. That's what I've noticed with Zoom. So I haven't figured out a way to
They're also in alphabetical.
control the list, except on the attendee side, it is in by alphabetical order, by first name until somebody speaks, and then it gets a little wonky. So that's why we're always trying to update the names to make sure we have the correct individual listed with the correct icon, I guess is the way to put it. So that's what we know as of this week. So Eric, I see you coming online as a panelist. Good morning. Again, just a reminder to everybody, we are streaming live to YouTube. We do have self-muting going on, so if you guys can remember that, it's just to help smooth the clicking today. If we do hear excessive background noise, we will mute you on our side. Not being rude, just trying to keep the background distractions to a minimum. Hi, Judy, we see you coming online.
Hello.
Anybody new come on board?
Red Keel.
Hi, Fred, we see you coming online. Good morning.
For the 2-minute. Now we got 3 minutes left. Yeah.
Good morning, Beth. We see you in the attendees.
Okay, for every year, start, this is a 2-minute warning, 3-minute warning. We will start promptly at 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock, whatever time it is we're starting here. I'm sorry, not 8
Whatever
o'clock.
time zone you're in.
Whatever time zone you're in. We'll ask Cecilia to tell us what time zone we're in.
Well, she can't yet. She's a panelist.
Oh, that's right. Okay, we'll start in a few minutes.
It's very early out here on the Pacific Coast and I'm still eating my breakfast. I'll be through in a minute.
Where are you camping at, Beth?
I am at Palmetto Cove, which is used to be an Airstream park in South Carolina. It's raining here today, so
Bill Wild is here.
yeah, Bill Wild should be on too, and he is also at Palmetto, and John Leake was here too, more or less last night.
That's right.
It's not 15, I've got 1 minute. We missed
Lost Eric.
lost Eric. No, he's still here.
Did you turn his video? Yeah. You got.
The meeting will come to order. To avoid disruptions in our meeting and in respect to all attendees of this executive committee meeting, the chair requires that all cell phones be turned off or silenced. If you must answer a cell phone, do so outside of the room in which you are currently seated for the same reason. Please also be aware of any background noise, no matter how insignificant, which may inadvertently be transmitted during the meeting and cause a disruption. Board members are to mute their microphones until recognized by the chair. Board members who want to ask a question or make a comment are asked to use the raise hand tool provided on Zoom. Zoom should remain muted until the member is called upon by the chair. Once recognized by the chair, board members are to unmute their microphones, present the question/comment, and mute their microphones again when they are finished talking. As the meeting is being broadcast live on YouTube, please make sure that there is an appropriate background visible for the audience. Due to the Corona-19 related travel restrictions, this meeting will be held online via a broadcast Zoom meeting on the club YouTube channel. Any other recording, transmittal, or retransmittal of this executive committee meeting is not authorized. Any violation of this policy may be subject to legal and/or disciplinary measures. The proprietary rights of our corporation and our members need to be respected. If there's no objection, the chair will postpone the meeting opening ceremonies until the IBT meeting, which will be held immediately following this executive board meeting. Hearing no objection, this meeting will continue without ceremony. The recording secretary will now call the roll.
President Andrew Selking.
Here.
First Vice President Ty Mott.
Here.
Second Vice President Eric McHenry.
Here.
Third Vice President Per Hemquist.
Here.
Recording Secretary Judy Bechtold here. Treasurer Beth Hackney.
Here.
Immediate Past President Mona Heath.
Present.
Parliamentarian Joanne Miller.
Present.
Corporate Manager Lori Plummer.
Present.
Trustee Justin Humphreys. 9 members are present. A quorum is present. Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry, I'm reading the wrong one. Andy, that's yours.
Yeah, I know. A quorum is present. Okay. Without objection, Joanne Miller will be appointed parliamentarian for 2020-2021. Hearing no objection, Joanne will be appointed parliamentarian for 2020-2021. Proposed agenda for this meeting is before you. Without objection, this will be the agenda for this meeting. Hearing no objection, this will be the agenda for the meeting. The minutes of the June 24th, 2020 Executive Committee virtual meeting have been distributed to each member of this committee and should be before them at this time. Without objection, we will dispense with the reading of the minutes. Hearing no objection, we will dispense with the reading of the minutes. Are there any corrections to these minutes? Since there are no corrections, the minutes are approved as distributed. The next item on the agenda is the report of the officers. First, the president. I will defer my report to the IBT meeting. Will there be any other officers at this time, first vice president, second vice president, third vice president, immediate past president, that would like to make a report? Okay, at this time, I would like to ask additional members of the board if they have a report to present or pertinent information to share with the board. Lori Plummer?
No, I have nothing at this time. Thank you.
Justin Humphreys isn't present. Anyone else? All right. Is there correspondence to be read?
Mr. President, I have no correspondence.
All right, there is no correspondence. All right, is there a treasurer's report?
I defer it to the IBT meeting.
All right, is there any, thank you, Beth. The next order of business is special orders. There are 2 special orders to come before the executive committee. The first special order is the approval of the standing committee chairs. Judy, would you please read the names of the standing committee chairs for 2020-2021?
Standing Committee Chairs 2020 through 2021. Budget, Ty Mott. Caravan, Jay Thompson. Constitution and Bylaws, Tom Smithson. Ethics and Grievance, Bob Caldwell. Family and Youth, Linda Amy. Historical, Joe Poplinski. Information Technology, Mark Nijam. International Rally 2021, Andrew Selking. International Rally Site, Vernon Goodwin III. International Relations, Per Hemquist. Lifetime Membership Fund, Eric McHenry. Long Range Planning, Per Hemquist. Marketing, there is none. Membership, Terry Warren. National Rallies, Kathy Mitchell. Planning Guides, there is none. Publications, Hedda Smithson. Technical, Ray Putnam.
Are there any questions? Without objection, these will be the standing committee chairs for 2020-2021. Hearing no objection, these will be the standing committee chairs for 2020-2021. The second special order is the approval of the 2020-2021 budget and forwarding the proposed budget to the IBT for adoption. Ty Mott, Chair of the Budget Committee, will present the proposed budget.
I defer this to Beth Hackney, our treasurer.
Are there any questions on the Budget Committee report? Yes, Beth, your turn to respond.
Yeah. Well, I just move that the budget for the 2020-2021 be adopted as presented. There is an attached table, which I could read the elements, but should be in front of everybody. If you want me to read it, I can, but it's there. And the rationale is the Budget Committee has provided this proposed budget as a result of the annual meeting and subsequent discussions as prescribed in Article 3, Section 3 of the policies. This budget will provide funding for club operations with estimated income and expenses for the coming year. Members of the IBT have been provided an opportunity to discuss this budget. The financial impact statement is this will allow the WBCCI to operate for the 2020-2021 financial year.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're fine.
okay, all right.
This is where you are. Please,
All right.
run.
Yeah, red rational, all right. Are there any questions or discussion? All right. This motion is to approve the budget for 2020-2021 and forward it to the IBT for adoption. Are you ready for the question? The vote is on the motion to approve the budget for 2020-2021 and to forward it to the IBT for adoption. Without objection, this motion will be approved. Hearing none, this motion is approved. The Executive Committee has approved the budget for 2020-2021 and will forward it to the IBT for adoption. There is no any unfinished business. Is there any new business? If there is no new business, this will conclude the Executive Committee virtual meeting for June the 27th, 2020. Hold 1 second. It's not here. Hold 1 second. I'm going to take a couple minute recess to talk to my parliamentarian. So just sit tight.
Mm-hmm.
You're on.
Okay, just to back up a little bit, I have trouble reading my script here, and I missed something in the script, so I'm going to take a step back. We have approved the budget. Beth will be presenting a motion to the IBT for a $10 a year due increase. Are there any questions from the executive board? All right. Beth has a motion on behalf of the budget committee regarding the proposed budget, and for this will be presented at the IBT meeting for the due increase motion. This will conclude the IBT virtual meeting. The next meeting will begin in, it's 8:15.
To say 15 minutes.
In 15 minutes. We will start promptly at
10:30.
10:30 our time, which is Eastern time here. So take a break, get a cup of coffee, come back.
Okay. Hi, Doug Hart, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so since you're here by phone, we can't move you over to panelist.
Okay, I'll tell you what. I tell you what, Lori, I have just come to a place where there's a great cell signal. So I'm going to find a place to pull over and I'll just park and go on via Zoom.
Fantastic. We just don't want to lose
Okay,
you
so
in the mix
I'll be back.
of things.
No, so I'll be back in just a minute.
Okay, thank you. You're on.
This is the 2-minute warning. The meeting will start and resume in 2 minutes. We'll start.
Where are we? Oh,
We're ready. All right. Here goes. The meeting will come to order. To avoid disruptions in our meeting and in respect to all attendees of this International Board of Trustees meeting, the chair requires that all cell phones be turned off or silenced. If you must answer a cell phone, do so outside of the room in which you are currently seated for the same reason. Please also be aware of any background noise, no matter how insignificant, which may inadvertently be transmitted during the meeting and cause a disruption. As this meeting is being broadcast live on YouTube, please make sure that there is an appropriate background visible for the audience. Due to the COVID-19 related travel restrictions, this meeting will be held online via a broadcast Zoom meeting on the club YouTube channel. Any other recording, transmittal, or retransmittal of this International Board of Trustee meeting is not authorized. Any violation of this policy may be subject to legal and/or disciplinary measures. The proprietary rights of our corporation and our members need to be respected. The invocation will be given by Cecilia Stanberry, Region 12 President.
Welcome, members of the 2021 IBT Board. As we gather here in a different format, in a different time, let us be mindful of our duties to our members. We have some difficult decisions to make today. We all need to be sure we are mindful of different opinions and are respectful to each other during our discussions. This is not only a wonderful club, but a great extended family. It has been difficult this year for all of us as we have canceled rallies, caravans, and especially the international rally. Let us hope that circumstances change in our country and we are able to get together in person for our next meeting with Andy. I now ask that we all observe a moment of silence for silent contemplation, prayer, reflection, or meditation as we prepare for the meeting.
Thank you, Cecilia. Ty Mott, will you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
It's the custom and privilege of the citizens of the United States of America to pledge allegiance to our country's flag. We invite citizens of other countries to please join with us and honor your country as we honor our flag and country. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Ty. At the June 30th, 2018 meeting of the International Board of Trustees, the bylaws article VIII 8, Section 3 was amended to read, the preparatory seminar and IBT meetings may be combined for each of the 3 Board of Trustee meetings. The seminar and the IBT meeting have been combined for today. Proposed rules for this virtual IBT meeting are: any board member may speak during this meeting. After being recognized by the chair, members will have the chance to be heard. All speakers must give their name and office. Remarks are limited to 3 minutes, except where approved by the chair. Board members are to mute their microphones until recognized by the chair. Board members who want to ask a question or make a comment are to use the raised hand tool provided on Zoom. Zoom should remain muted until called upon by the chair. Once recognized by the chair, board members are to unmute their microphones, present the question, comment, and mute their microphones again when they have finished talking. In lieu of in-person participation, members are able to submit questions or comments to the IBT through an online form located on the airstreamclub.org elections site. All questions or comments submitted prior to the start of this meeting have been reviewed and were distributed to the IBT. They will be addressed during the appropriate discussion. Questions or comments on the online form during the International Board of Trustee meeting will be reviewed as soon as possible and forwarded to the IBT. After each updated report or action item is presented, feedback will be requested from the International Board of Trustees, followed by the region vice presidents. If there have not been any questions or comments submitted from the audience, the discussion will end when the chair calls for the question. All raised hands will be lowered. Speakers may speak twice on each item, but those who wish to speak a second time must wait until all who want to speak a first time have done so. A yellow card will be held up when the speaker has spoken for 2 minutes. When the 3 minutes have been used by the speaker, a red card will be held up and a bell will ring. The speaker will stop. There will be a limit of 20 minutes for discussion on each motion unless the chair extends the time. If a roll call vote is necessary, the International Recording Secretary will randomly call on board members. Microphones will be unmuted to record the vote and then muted once again once the vote is completed. When the chair calls for the question, only the trustees may vote. If there's no objection, these will be the rules for the meeting. Hearing no objection, these are the rules for this meeting. The secretary will call the roll.
President Andrew Selking.
Here.
First Vice President Ty Mott.
Here.
Second Vice President Eric McHenry.
Here.
Third Vice President Per Helmquist.
Here.
Recording Secretary Judy Bechtold here. Treasurer Beth Hackney.
Here.
Immediate Past President Mona Heath.
Present.
Region 1 President Doug Hart.
Present.
Region 2 President Richard Short.
Here.
Region 3 President Bill Wild.
Present.
Region 4 President Karen Fisher.
Present.
Region 5 President Christopher Seplak.
Present.
Region 6 President Jim Johnson.
Present.
Region 7 President Jane Carmichael.
Present.
Region 8 President Mike Sisk.
Here.
Region 9 President Bill Miller.
Present.
Region 10 President Michelle Barassa.
Here.
Region 11 President Ken Johansson.
Present.
Region 12 President Cecilia Stansberry.
Present.
Parliamentarian Joanne Miller.
Present.
Corporate Manager Lori Palmer.
Present.
Trustee Justin Humphreys. 21 members are present.
A quorum is present. Proposed agenda for this meeting is before you. Without objection, this will be the agenda. Hearing no objection, this will be the agenda for the meeting. The minutes of the June 24th, 2020 IBT virtual meeting have been distributed to the members of this board and should be before them at this time. Without objection, we shall dispense with the reading of the minutes. Hearing none, we will dispense with the reading of the minutes. Are there any corrections to these minutes? Since there are no corrections, the minutes are approved as distributed. The next item on the agenda is the report of the officers. First, the president's report. I just want to say it's a pleasure and honor to be sitting here in this chair and looking forward to working with everybody. This being my first time, if there's a hiccup or something, trust me, we're trying to do our best and we will conquer and move on. I do want to say we are going to be in the advanced caravan that didn't happen this year because we didn't have a midsummer in Loveland and have a great time. But we are having a advanced party, and the people on the advanced party will be there after July the 4th, and we're going to spend about 3 days and get everything ironed out and finished there so that we can have a great time hopefully next year in Lebanon, Tennessee. That's all I have to report. Are there any other reports of the officers? First Vice President, Ty Mott.
Nothing for me, thank you.
Second Vice President, Eric McHenry.
Nothing for me at this point, thank you.
Third Vice President, Per Hamquist.
Nothing to report.
Immediate Past President, Mona Heath.
I have nothing to report at this time.
Okay, thank you all. Next will be a report from Ty Mott, First Vice President.
No,
Nope,
wait.
wait.
You will. Yeah, we went through all those. Everything's enough.
Yeah. Okay, all right. Back up a second. At this time, the chair would like to ask if there are any additional reports from Lori Plummer, Corporate Manager.
No, I have nothing at this time. Thank you.
Justin Humphreys, Trustee. Thank you both for no report. Is there any correspondence?
Mr. President, I have no correspondence.
Thank you, Judy. May we have the treasurer's report from Treasurer Beth Hackney?
The treasurer's report includes the period of August 1st, 2019 to May 30th, 2020. For income, we had $791,847.87. For expenses, we had $784,635.50 for a net income of $7,212.37. Assets for checking, payroll, and Huntington are $63,835.80. Investments are $155,031.31. Common sense for kids is $19,195.77. The life member account is $55,107.17. The accounts receivable and other current assets are $123,442.58. So the total current assets are $681,736.63. The fixed assets less depreciation are $377,577.15. The total assets are $1,059,313.78. The total current liabilities are $46,379.71. Total equity is $46,379.71. wait, I missed that one. Total current liabilities are $46,379.71. Total equity is $1,012,934.07. So the total liabilities and equity are $1,059,313.78. And that is my treasurer's report. Respectfully, Beth Hackney.
Thank you, Beth. Are there any questions on the treasurer's report from the board? Ken Johansson, go ahead. You'll have to unmute yourself, Ken. There we go.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. I see on the treasury profit and the budget projection, I see there's going to be, we're projecting a $26,000 loss. So that's my first question, is if that's correct. And then number two is the last financial that I have is January 31st, I believe, and the difference between fixed assets then and now is $182,914. And I'd like to know what was spent on capital items. And then overall, even though we're showing a profit of $7,200, I note that the total equity is off by, or reduced by $128,407.
Yeah, I can.
Let me,
Yeah, so I can address, so number one, yes, the actual numbers, the income and expense on the treasurer's report of the $7,200 profit is actual numbers through May 30th. Just to remind everybody, most of our income comes in during renewal season, so we don't expect a bunch of income right this second. So that is why we are projecting a loss, since we will run through July 31st of $26,000. And then what was your second question, Ken?
Have you taken into consideration all, sorry? I'm sorry?
I was asking what was your second question? Because you broke up a little bit.
The second question was well, first of all, the losses that are on the projected budget. Last night, it was mentioned that we're getting all of these new membership that are coming in. How does that affect this $26,000 loss that you're projecting?
Not in here yet.
Doesn't.
Well, it actually what's coming in has been fantastic, but it's also making up for 6-8 weeks of nothing back in March and April. So example, the month of between mid-March and April, we had 50 new members, whereas right now we're having 50 members a week. So I honestly believe it's going to balance itself out by the time what we missed in the end. So I don't foresee us gathering that many new members to offset that by $26,000. Again, that's a very conservative estimate.
Okay, but March, am I on? Okay, but March and April would have been included in these in this profit of $7,200. The loss of or
Yes.
the additional expenses that were incurred in the loss of revenue.
Yes.
Okay. Second question is, I see fixed assets were 300,000 in January, 195,000. I'm sorry, 195,000 in January, 377,000 now. So that's a difference of 183,000. What was spent on capital items?
Those are payments on our database. So when the CDs came up, we cashed them out, and then those are payments on the database that was approved last year, and those will be depreciated over the next 10 years.
Okay, so overall, my third comment was an overall loss of 128,000 in equity for the club.
Yes, because yes, we were approved $250,000 is what we are on budget for the database.
So actually, over the last,
Okay.
yes, year and a half, it's been more than that, 2 years.
Okay. Okay. I think that's important to include in the treasurer's report.
Okay.
Good.
Sure.
All right, I see no one else on the board. Any questions from the region vice presidents? All right. Seeing none, the treasurer's report will be filed. The next order of business is that of the standing committees and special committee reports. According to the bylaws, Article 3, committees, Section 8, Item A, with the exception of the Budget Committee, no reports are required for the IBT meeting following the International Rally. All members of this board have received electronic copies of the written reports and action items submitted by those whose committee chairs wanted to report at this IBT meeting. For those watching, these reports and motions are on airstreamclub.org, where you can refer to them. Only committee chairs who have submitted reports or action items will be asked to present information to the board. Will there be any standing committee reports?
Joe has one.
Yeah, I did. Can I speak? This is Joe Peplinski, Standing Committee Chair for the Historical Committee.
No,
No.
no,
Yes, Joe.
no,
Yes, Joe can speak. Go ahead.
no.
Wait.
No. That's right. Hold on, just a second. No, we can't, because the rules are that if you had not submitted anything
Wait.
before this.
Okay.
Wait, we will pause. Joanne, can you address that,
Yes,
please?
yes. Andy,
Yes, ma'am.
you hear me?
Yes.
You need to follow your script, please. We will begin with the standing committee report.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, I'm off track. Thank you. Let's get
You're
back on
welcome.
track. All right. After each report or action item is presented, feedback will be requested from the International Board of Trustees, followed by the region vice presidents. If there have not been any questions or comments submitted from the audience, the discussion will end when the chair calls for the question. All raised hands will be lowered. As directed in Policy 861, International Board of Trustees, Section E, IBT votes are to be by roll call unless a request for unanimous consent is approved. The chair will put the question for unanimous consent on all motions after discussion is complete. If there is an objection to unanimous consent, a roll call vote will be taken. After a motion has passed, headquarters will make the appropriate changes to the Blue Book and distribute them. Ty Mott, Chairman of the Budget Standing Committee, will present the committee's report. Ty, please read the committee's report.
I defer this over to our International Treasurer, Beth Hackney.
Beth, go ahead and make.
I move that the budget for the 2020-2021 be adopted as presented, and I can read through the table if you'd like, or let people do it themselves. It's up to you.
Joanne's hands up.
Pause for a second. Joanne's got her hand
Oh,
up.
I'm sorry. I'm off track now. Yes. I'm off track. I'm sorry. All right. So in this case, I move that the international membership dues be increased from $65 to $75 effective for the start of the 2021 membership year.
Hold on one second. No.
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 Oh.
She needs to call on Eric.
Beth, would you call on Eric to share his video presentation?
Well, what do you want it, the rationale or you want the video? Okay.
Oh, the
Well,
video
then I
first.
call on Eric to present his video information
Yes.
presentation.
Thank you. Will you guys spin up the slide pack, please?
That one.
Share.
All right, excellent. I'm going to talk through one of the strong components that are tied to budget, and that's a proposal to increase the membership dues. First, I want to bring your all's attention to this presentation was updated as of last night. I apologize for the last update, late update. Typically, as you probably all know, there's a region officers forum that happens a couple days before this meeting. And at the region officers forum, there is a request for more information. And so that information got subsequently included into this presentation. I'll try to call it out where it's different from you may have seen before. Next slide. In a nutshell, to bring the budget to where Beth is proposing, an increase of $10 is proposed starting in the upcoming membership year. The Board of Trustees, us, we have the responsibility to fix and determine the amount of the National Club dues, and then we push that out across. So this is something the board has to agree to. You can see historically that over the last 30 years, we went from 35 to 45 to 55 to 65 to 75. Next slide, please. The most recent increase was 10 years ago. And I'm going to go a little slow through this. There's a lot of data here, particularly on the subsequent slides. And if you guys have questions, then I think Andy, let me know how to handle those when you want to handle those.
Yes.
So the most recent increase 10 years ago was $10. That's a 18% increase approximately. What is proposed now to balance the budget as proposed is another $10 increase, which is about 15%. And that would become effective at the beginning of 2021 membership year, which is effectively January. The lifetime membership also gets impacted, and I'll talk a little bit about that later in the presentation. Next slide, please. Over the last 10 years, since the last time the dues were increased, inflation was about 18%. And I think a really interesting way to think about inflation, and someone mentioned this in the Region Officers Forum, is that inflation is really a reduction in the value of your cash. And so what we could have bought in 2010 has reduced by 17.6% with the same dollar amount. So otherwise, our money has gotten less effective. So although inflation has gone up 17.6%, the proposed dues increase are less than that. We are not proposing an 18% due increase. We're proposing an increase that is below the actual level of inflation. And one of the reasons why is that we're seeing a lot more efficiency in office operations. The discussion just a little while ago as part of our treasurer's report highlighted some of the investment, fairly significant investment we have put into the club with the implementation of the new website, new member management database, and the upcoming member self-service portal, which will be launching in less than a month. So the dues increase not only helps balance the budget because of the issues that some of the issues that Andy has shared and others, but it also allows us to continue to deliver the level of services that our members have expected to get, and actually, frankly, have been asking for. For years since when I joined the club, there's been an interest in providing badges to the members directly, rather than having the local clubs do those. So now, starting I think roughly 6 or 8 months ago, whenever a new member joins, they get a wonderful packet directly from the office, Lori and her team, that talks about our club. It has their new badges included in it, and it's a really nice handshake into the club and a welcome arm into the club. Blue Beret quality, online renewal of membership, et cetera, et cetera. So there's a lot more they're doing now with the same level of resources, which is why the budget increase, sort of the dues increase, is proposed to be less than the actual inflation. Next slide, please. So these next two slides, they get a little wonky, and I apologize, but I'll talk you through these kind of slowly. It's actually really important. You know, some of the discussions in and after the region officers forum said, well, you know, I've heard that, I feel that, I think that if we increase the dues, we're going to see a precipitous drop in our membership. And in fact, I think that happened in the past. So we took a step back and said, well, that might be true. Let's take a look at the data to see what the data shows. And so what I'm going to talk you through is a bit of an analysis of what the correlation is that we've seen between dues and membership levels. So what we did is we took a look at the membership count from 1989 to 1920. During that time span, we actually had 3 increases. The one before that happened before 1989. I don't have the data on that. And so then I applied it's called a 6-order polynomial regression model. For those statisticians out there, you're probably getting excited right now. But what it is basically it's a predictive curve that says, okay, you know, our membership looks like something. I'll show you in a second. Let's see if we can sort of provide a model that would match our actuals. And so the model that I'll show you in a couple of seconds, it's a really good model. So basically, we think we have a very good prediction of what our membership would be with or without dues increases. And it seems to fit our membership levels pretty accurately, and I'll show you in a second. So once we had that model of what our membership over time looked like, then we could compare predicted versus actual. In other words, we could say, hey, you know, during a dues increase year, we thought the membership should do this given trending, but actually did this. And that difference is probably related to dues increase. So in a nutshell, though, the data does suggest that there really is no significant change to membership levels for dues increases similar to what we've seen before. Next slide, please. Okay, so I'm going to talk you through this, and I'll go a little slow, and I apologize, but I want to make sure we all understand it. It's kind of a busy graph, and it may be hard for you to read. The green line at the top, those are the dues. And so you can see from 1989 through 2022, our dues were 35, then they stepped up to 45, then they stepped up to 55, then they stepped up to 65. So that's our historical dues over time. You can see the increases. The blue line, which is probably one of the most important lines, that's our actual members in the club. Now, for those of you looking at the axes, you'll say, well, this is more members than we actually have. This is members, not memberships. You know, we're starting to think about our club as having members, not memberships. And so Laverne and I, we're 2 members, right? So the actual members is roughly the number of memberships times 2. So that's why it may be twice as much as you think it would normally be. But anyway, the blue line is our actual trajectory of memberships and members. And back in 1989, we had, you know, about 33,000 individual members. As of 2013, we got to our lowest point in our club, and we had approximately 12,000 individual members in our club. So you can see where it's going. It's going up again to the right. So then the next important thing is the red dotted line, and that's the model. That's it's the regression analysis that shows, hey, is there anything that can predict what that membership curve would look like? And you can tell that red line fits the actual data really good. And this is really important because we believe the red line is a fairly accurate estimate of what the membership would be because it fits the actuals. So if you look back at the first text box to the left, and what this is, it shows, you know, right after the 1994 dues increase, we looked at the membership level in 1995. And looking at the model, we would predict that we would have 23,100 members if nothing happened. We actually got 23,302. So the dues increase actually had no effect. In fact, we actually got more members in our club after the dues increase than we had what the model would predict. In 2005, it's a similar thing. The dues increase went in 2005, and the year after that, 2006, the predicted, based on the general trajectory of our membership, which suggests that we would have 15,250 members in general. We actually had 15,382. So again, there is no real impact. We actually had more members after dues increase than we would typically have without it. So I would say that those two suggest that there really is no correlation. The last dues increase we had on record was in 2010. So we look at the membership level of 2011, and there, you know, our model, which is starting to fall apart a little, would have suggested that we would have 12,250 members. We actually had a little bit less than that, 11,964. So there was some difference in predicted versus actual, which you could reasonably attribute to dues increase, but it was so small. It was 2.3%. I think if you look at this data, it's kind of hard to take any substantial conclusion out of this. In other words, it's hard to say that the dues increase produced any change in memberships. So this is just raw data. I'm trying not to put any personal spin on it. This is just raw data. We can make a data available to you if you'd like. It's a simple calculation off an Excel spreadsheet that does the regression test on it. So that's kind of in summary. And so again, I would say that when we hear that, oh my gosh, we're gonna see a cratering of our membership like FMCA did or like we did in the past, it really has not been the case, looking at the data in a very close look. Okay, I'm just gonna pause here. I do think this is an important slide just to kind of sit and look at. And I'll move forward, I think, and then we'll come back for questions. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, this is not new. I showed this a couple of days ago at the Regional Officers Forum. So the next question we asked ourselves was, okay, that's nice, but how do we compare to other clubs? Now, it's kind of hard because we're very different than other clubs. And so if we start in the lower right-hand corner, you know, we call these the discount camping clubs, the Good Sam, the Passport America, the Harvest Host. Those are not like us. They're kind of cool, but they don't have a office staff. They don't have international rallies in general. They're just sort of places to go for discount goods. And they're sitting at the $30 to $40 range. Just above them are the subsidized manufacturers clubs. And you know, we used to be subsidized by Airstream back in the day. We're no longer. We're self-funding. Those clubs, the Newmar, Tiffin, Winnebagos, you know, they're 65 down to 40. They don't have nearly the level of member support or activities that we have. So they're similar, but they're different. The ones that are more like us are on the left. And frankly, in the left column, the only one that is very similar to us is FMCA. They're running at 85 now. Escapees, Narva, Sister of the Fly. Again, less structure. The one that is the closest is FMCA, and there's been a lot of discussion with some of the members and online about FMCA. It's been seen in a number of articles that they're having trouble. I believe they had an office staff of 30 something compared to our 4. They're a very different structure. They're larger than us. They have not, in general, rebounded with the economy. Justin from Airstream talked about the RV resurgence, and towables are doing great. The Class A's are just still having a struggle. So FMCA has some other underlying structural and membership issues that we don't share. However, they are the closest to us. Next slide, please. This is similar to the other slide. I was asked the question of, well, you know, we have 4 people in the office. Is that the right level of people in the office for the amount of money we're spending at our membership level? And so you can see there that we started off at a level of, we peaked at a level of 6 in the office, you know, back in 1966. It's dropped a couple of times. Lori's team is at 4 right now. I would argue that with the membership growing and with them doing more and more, as I hope you all have seen, we're running about the right level of labor investment on the back office side. And so I don't think this data suggests that we're spending too much on on staff. I think we're probably okay there looking at our membership growth and projections over time. Next slide, please. The last input that I got a lot of, and this was discussion at the Region Officers Forum, was, okay, I know that this is about the lifetime membership, and this is not being discussed or voted on today, but it is true that if the dues increase gets voted on by you, the board, it is very likely that we're going to want to change the one-time payment for the lifetime membership. By the way, Laverne and I are becoming lifetime members this upcoming membership year, so we'll have a gold badge for the next time you see us. But I want to give you guys a little bit of overview and kind of tee up what's going to happen next. And I, am chair of the lifetime membership committee. I'm also with Terry Warren and Karen Fisher as well. So the way it works is that there's a one-time payment when someone joins of international dues. That payment amount is based on their applicant's average age. Our average age here, Laverne and me, is 61, I think, and ours is about $1,100, I think. You pay that once up front, and then you pay your local club or membership at large dues, and you're good to go for life. That payment schedule was last updated effective June 1st, 2015, and Andy Suckling was on that committee then, and they took a good hard look at the lifetime fund at that point and set it there. So what we've committed to doing for the board is at the Midwinter IBT in Sarasota, we're going to present a comprehensive report and recommendations to the IBT about lifetime membership. It'll include, for example, we'll look at the current one-time payment schedule. We'll do an assessment of the fund sustainability, because we really want to make sure that the lifetime membership fund doesn't go down too low. We also want to make sure that there isn't too much of a fund balance in there. So we'll take a look at the fund balance. If this board decides to make any changes in the membership dues, we'll have to take a look at does the one-time payment for lifetime go up? It probably will. We're going to take a look at the actuarial assumptions that are behind the lifetime membership one-time fund. We'll take a look at our current and expected demographics of our members who join the lifetime club. In other words, generally what age do they join, how long are they in the club, et cetera, et cetera. And then also we're going to talk about a promotional strategy that we're going to coordinate with Terry Warren and her membership committee. We'll talk about awareness and benefits and member testimonials, et cetera. And it's at that point in midwinter that we'll propose any potential changes to the one-time payment schedule. I believe any changes that we present in midwinter will become effective August 2021. So said differently, anyone that joins from now until August 2021 will be able to join at the current lifetime membership level. So, okay, I think that's it for my report. Again, I apologize, this was a little bit complicated, but I think a lot of questions were asked about the data, particularly around our memberships. I thought it was important for everyone to be on the same page, looking at actual real data, and allowing us to step aside from some of the rumors or speculations or urban legends about historical dues changes. All right, thank you.
Eric, thank you very much for that. Are there any questions on this report from the board? Cecilia Stansberry?
Yes, it's not really a question, more of a request. I had a Zoom meeting after the installation last night with my first and second BP, and we were talking about the dues increase, and we were wondering if Eric or the board could provide us with just some simple bullet points to support the dues increase, so that we can explain it to our members that might question it, put forth questions to us. And so I was just wondering if that is possible. Some member benefits point out that now they're getting, the name badges and the added expenses. Would that be possible to do at some point fairly soon after we vote for this?
Yes, it will. I know that if this is passed, we have plans to have some articles in the Blue Beret this next month that would explain all this and basically put together a really good cross-section of everything you were talking about, Cecilia, so that we can explain to everyone, here's what's going on, here's what you get, and everything like that.
Great. That answers my question. Thanks, Andy.
Thank you. Next, Ken Johansson.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Are you able to hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. I think Eric's presentation was very good, and I recognize the hard work that he did in putting it together. And I find the presentation compelling. However, what's being focused on is the dues increase and revenue, and there's no discussion on current expense. And I note that for the current year, we're about almost 10% over budget, or 72,000. And then the last actual numbers that we have are the, was it 18-19 numbers, in which we've spent $152,000 or 18% more this year than we have in the previous years. And so in taking a straw poll of my region, everybody has said the same thing, is why are we raising dues in a time when everybody is tightening their belts and we have this virus going on, that this just is not the time to be raising dues. And I think what we ought to do, I don't know if I could make a motion within the motion, but I would make a motion that we put this off a year to have some time to study this and see how this virus plays out. In addition, we have the Sarasota rally, which is budgeted for 39,000, which I would be very surprised if that happens this year. As you know, I'm the one who hosts Balloon Fiesta. Balloon Fiesta has been canceled as of October. The Sarasota meeting is 3 months later. And so I think that I would put this dues increase off until at least a year.
Thank you, Ken. Any more questions from the board? Oh, yes, I have one more. Chris Seplak.
Hi. I called my first vice president, Artie, this week or Thursday after the region meeting here. And we were discussing, we both came in about 10 years ago. And we were discussing how much that office has increased efficiency, and we're grateful for the 4 women there. They do a great job for us. I mean, we were discussing software. 10 years ago, you could get on the computer, update your copy of a software, just, without being caught, charged. Now you have to get charged every time you update most of the time. We feel that this is not that much of an increase right now. I mean, yes, we are going through COVID right now, and but costs go up. So we feel like we should support this. So that's what we're feeling in Region 5.
Thank you, Chris, for your comments. From the region vice presidents. Okay.
John Holly.
John Holly.
Thank you. We discussed this in our Region 11, and I do agree with Ken Johansson that due to the coronavirus and other things, and the fact that we could probably save a lot of money if we did a Zoom hookup for the midwinter IBT, that it probably would be advisable to let our members have a chance to evaluate this over time. And over a year's time, when we might want to recommend this next year or have it in effect for next year, in fact, the members could get the heat out, could get their anger out. If there's any problems to it at all, then they will be resigned to it and know that it's coming, and it won't be thrown at them at a time when no one knows it's coming. If we approve it now and it's approved, everybody's going to be hit with it over the head. Whereas if we give them a year to think about it, I think it'll be taken much easier. I agree with the dues increase. I think it's probably something to be necessary, especially over 10 years that we haven't had one. I just question the timing and the fact that we could have it now presented in a very good way and not cost anything in our budget if we come about some other consideration and ways to save money on the current budget. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Any other from the region vice presidents? Okay, let's go back to our panelist, Ty Mott.
I'm for this. I mean, this is a cup of coffee a month, and everybody sees how much coffee is going up right now, and people are still buying their cup of coffee or their Coca-Cola. It's one of those a month to increase this to balance our budget out. These girls at headquarters are bringing more and more stuff for us. Look how far along we've been with the Zoom with Eric's help and Pear's help and Andy's help and Lori and everybody at the office. For one Coca-Cola or one cup of coffee a month for a year, we will be getting more benefit for our buck out of that one cup of coffee. So I think we should really do this year and balance the budget.
Thank you, Ty, for your comments. Tom Smithson.
I said this yesterday or the day before at the officers forum. We currently pay a dues of $65. That's a given. So what we're looking at is an additional $10 a year, which amounts to 82 cents a month. And I'm sorry, if an Airstreamer cannot afford 82 cents a month, they're really in bad shape. I agree with Ken Johansson, and I agree with Mr. Hawley that, maybe this looks like bad time, but we're not talking about a lot of money. We're talking about 82 cents a month, and that's all to have a balanced budget. And I think that that's absolutely critical. Thank you.
Michael Barraza.
The way I see it is we're treading water. We're not getting anywhere. The $10 a year doesn't even make up for the loss in the spending capacity that we had 10 years ago. So essentially, we're treading water, keeping our heads above water barely with the increase. Without the increase, you could look at our budget as being less than it actually is. Postage has gone up 17, 20%. All of the costs in running the operation have gone up with no increase to provide for that. This $10 has been pointed out, barely covers inflation and just keeps us almost in a neutral position. My region's in favor of it.
Thank you for your comments, Michael. Let's go to Stephen Parr.
Hello.
Go ahead.
Yes. I think from a member's perspective, the dues increase is going to be a perception. They're not going to look at it, it's 82 cents a month. They're going to look at it as we're going through a COVID issue, that there's no rallies for me to attend, and now you want $10 more for me a month, and I'm getting less than I would if I kept it $65 a month. And that's all I have to say.
Thank you, Stephen. We have one more.
Stephen's hand's up again.
Stephen, are you wanting to speak again? Oh, okay, you took your hand down, okay. All right. Anybody else on the board or the region vice presidents? Eric McHenry.
Thanks. Yeah, my presentation I just gave to you was a neutral presentation. I tried not to give my personal opinion. I'm switching now to my personal opinion, just to be clear. First of all, I think you probably misspoke, Stephen, but it's $10 a year, not $10 more a month that we're proposing. I think it makes a lot of sense. I think ideally we'd be in Loveland right now, face to face. Ideally, you know, we'd be in Sarasota. Hopefully it happens face to face. We're not. I think we have to conduct business the way we can right now. From a fiduciary standpoint, which is a significant charter of this board, we need to come forward with a balanced budget. And I think that we have a couple options on how to do that. One is to make some reductions in our other expenses. That's one, probably around travel, which you've seen in the options. The other is to increase dues $10 a year for our members. I am strongly in support of increasing it $10 a year. I do not think it needs to go to the members for their feedback. I do strongly, though, believe that we have to communicate why we're doing this. I don't think we can just do this and just say, give us your $10 extra. I think we have to, if the board approves this, do a really good job. And this would probably be the next Blue Beret and other things. Hey, look, you guys, this is why. And we have to focus, I think, not just on the numbers, because for most of us, I think our members, it's an emotional discussion on, okay, so what am I getting out of this extra $10, even though it's only $10? And one thing that we have to couple it with are more member benefits. I think all of you know that as a member, our members now get a 15% lifetime discount to Harvest Hosts. I would argue that probably 10% of our members know that right now. So when you join Airstream Club International, WPCCI, you get a 15% reduction to your Harvest Host. We have to talk more about that stuff in conjunction with our budget shortfalls, our $10 a year. I think even that actually covers, frankly, almost anything. We need to be rolling out more member benefits. We need to be rolling out discounts with KOA, you know, with Good Sam. And I think that we have the leverage in our club to be able to do that. So I'd like us to talk about that. No matter whether we increase dues or not, we need to talk about the member benefits more clearly to our members. So anyway, that's my personal perspective on it. Why I think we have to do it now is that I don't think I don't believe we can afford to go into a budget year with an unbalanced budget. I don't think that we can let it carry over a year. I think it's our responsibility, a fiduciary responsibility, to come forward with a balanced budget one way or another. Thank you.
Thank you, Eric. Next up, Per Hamquist.
The question I have for the maker of the motion is, how much runway does this actually buy us? Are we just kind of making it okay now, and then we have to go back and shake the tree again a couple of years down the road? I think it would be better if we could make sure that it buys us a little bit more of a runway.
That's a good question. Unfortunately, I don't really have a crystal ball. It's hard to say how much our expenses will increase from this point forward. I think it would look bad to increase it further and show, you know, tens of thousands of dollars as a net profit for this year. So we are trying to be conservative. We are trying to, you know, make sure that we do have a balanced budget. The membership, you know, hopefully we're on a trend right now to increase the membership, and hopefully that trend continues. And so, yeah, as long as the membership numbers continue to go up, I think that the dues increase will hold us for a while. That's about all I have.
Any other questions on this? All right, seeing none. From the audience, I will say this: we did receive one comment card sent in through the way we had set this up this year. That comment card came in, and it was addressed in the presentation that Eric just put forward. Ken Johansson.
Still muted.
Ken, you have to unmute yourself. You have your hand raised. Where's Ken at? There he is.
Wait a second. Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. I've heard a lot of discussion about balancing the budget, but yet, and this is probably a budget discussion, but there hasn't been any discussion of why we're $152,000 more in spending over the previous year. And so I question the budget.
Discussed the other day.
At the original system. Ken, we did discuss at the Regis Officers Forum the other day that you were not able to be in attendance to, so that topic was discussed then.
But this is the place to discuss it, not these outside meetings.
I would just say it's been our structure, and we will, I don't have a perfect answer for you on that.
Okay.
Cecilia Stansberry. Cecilia Stansberry?
Yeah, just to answer Ken's question, I believe the Region Officers Forum was live streamed as well, with people having an opportunity to submit questions. Is that incorrect or correct?
That was correct, Cecilia. This is Lori Palmer, Corporate Manager. Yes, you are correct, Cecilia.
Yeah, so it wasn't a side closed meeting or anything. It was an open meeting where everyone could hear the discussion. So if they heard the discussion, they could have submitted questions for today's meeting as well. Correct?
Correct.
Okay. Thanks.
All right. Here we got
Terry Warren.
Terry Warren.
Good morning. I would like to speak in favor of the dues increase. When Eric was talking about balancing the budget, one of the options was to cut back on travel. We had a situation in Region 10 this year where the budget for travel to visit all of the clubs, as the local clubs, as prescribed in the bylaws, there wasn't enough money. Sharon Cairns had to pay out of her own pocket to do what is required by the bylaws. So I think cutting travel would be an error, and I agree that $10 is minimal. I've also had texts this morning from Region 10 members in the Oregon Club who are observing this, who are also very much in support of the increase. So that's my input on this. Thank you.
Thank you, Terry. Okay, I just want to stop and pause everybody here. This has been a discussion, and this basically was on the report that Beth and Eric have come forward with, but this was not a motion. This was just in the report. So we will, from here, move on, and our special order number 2 is the adoption of the budget. There's an additional action item with this report. Beth, will you please read motion A concerning increasing the membership dues?
Point of order.
Hold on.
Hold on. Karen?
I believe there's a motion on the floor to increase dues that we haven't voted on. We cannot move forward until we finish voting on the motion.
Yes, I made the motion, and I think I need to read the rationale and finish the financial impacts before the motion can be voted on.
This is true. Joanne?
I believe Beth may have given her rationale and financial impact statement. I'm not sure. That should have been done before the discussion started.
Right.
But there is a motion on the floor, and before you can go any farther, now that discussion has ended, they need to vote on that motion.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. This motion does come from a committee and does not require a second. Beth, read your rationale and financial impact one more time.
Yes, the rationale, which is highlighted in Eric's report, was the last dues increase was in 2010. Actual inflation over the last 10 years was 17.6%. The proposed 15.4% increase falls below actual inflation, due in part to the increased efficiency from the office with implementation of new technologies and systems. In addition to covering the cost of inflation, the dues increase covers the cost of new services provided to the local clubs, e.g. badges mailed to new members, online renewal of memberships, significant improvements in the quality of the Blue Beret, etc. The financial impact is that a 15.4% increase to membership upon renewal. And by approving this motion, it allows a balanced budget to be created for the 2021 and forward.
Thank you, Beth, for that. I think we've had plenty of questions and discussion on this, and everybody's got different ideas, but I want to remind everybody that the chair reminds that members that only the trustees may vote on all motions. This is a policy amendment and requires a majority vote in the affirmative to pass. The motion proposed increasing the international dues by $10 per year to $75 per year. Are you ready for the question? Joanne Miller.
I don't have a question. It's just my husband Bill was dropped and he hasn't been allowed back into the meeting.
Oh.
Okay.
Why hasn't he? Because he fell off and came back as an attendee. I didn't see him.
Hold on here one second.
He should be coming back on.
Let's see.
Oh, he doesn't have this.
There he is. All right, Bill is back on. Bill, do you have a question? I will pause here and let, since Bill got dropped off and this are extenuating circumstances. Bill, do you have a comment?
No, I don't.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, let's go back to the thing at hand. We have the motion. I again will ask you, are you ready for the question? The vote is on motion A as read. Without objection, motion A as read will be approved. Hearing no objection, motion A is approved. Thank you, Beth. Tom Smithen, Chair of the...
Andy,
Yes,
secretary here. Did somebody object to that going through? I saw Mr. Johansson's.
Ken Johansson's hands up.
Was there going to be an objection, Mr. Johansson?
Yeah, I thought we were going to take a vote. Yes, I would object to a dues increase.
Okay. Then we will conduct a roll call vote that will be in random order of sequence. Judy?
Second VP, Eric McHenry.
Yes.
Did you say yes, Eric?
Yes.
Region 3, Bill Wild.
Yes.
Region 11, Ken Johansson.
No.
Immediate past President Mona Heath.
Yes.
Treasurer Beth Hackney.
Yes.
Third VP, Per Hemquist.
Yes.
Region 12, Cecilia Stansberry.
Yes.
Region 5, Christopher Seplik.
Yes.
International Recording Secretary Judy Bechtold, yes. Region 10, Michelle Barassa.
Yes.
Region 7, Jane Carmichael.
Yes.
Region 2, Richard Short.
Yes.
Region 6, Jim Johnson.
Region 6 votes yes.
Region 9, Bill Miller.
Yes.
Region 1, Doug Hart.
Yes.
Region 4, Karen Fisher.
Yes.
First VP, Ty Mott.
Yes.
Region 8, Mike Sisk.
Region 8 votes yes.
Mr. President, I have 17 members voting yes, 1 no, and 0 abstentions.
The ayes have it. This motion passes. Move on to the next order of business. Tom Smithen, Chair of the Constitution and Bylaws Standing Committee. There is one action item to be presented from this committee. Tom, please read action item B concerning deleting the current model constitution for local clubs and inserting a new model constitution.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that the model constitution and bylaws referenced in Article 6, Club Organization, Section 4 of the WBCC bylaws and located on the WBCCI website be replaced with an updated version. See attached revision. And Mr. President, I would prefer to not read the 12 pages of the revision.
Yes, you do not have to do that. This motion is from a committee and does not require a second. Please read your rationale and financial impact statement.
Thank you, Mr. President. Rationale: the changes in membership qualification and privileges enacted in the June 24th, 2020 International Board of Trustees meeting will require local clubs to modify their governing documents. The revised model constitution and bylaws contain the revision language to accomplish the changes. Financial impact: there is no financial impact on WBCCI. Thank you.
Are there any questions or discussion concerning this motion from the board? I don't see anyone in raising their hand. From the region vice presidents? We don't have any questions from the audience. This is a bylaws amendment and requires a 2/3 vote in the affirmative to pass. This motion proposes deleting the current model constitution and replacing it with a new model constitution. Are you ready for the question? The vote is on motion B as read. Without objection, motion B as read will be approved. Hearing no objection, motion B is approved. Thank you, Tom.
Mr. President.
Yes.
I would like to suggest that when we come to your agenda item of new business, I do have a motion which I need to submit at that time.
Okay, thank you, sir. How about, we've been at this for a little over an hour. Let's take a 10-minute pause and let everybody get up and stretch their legs and get something to drink or do whatever you need to do. Let's come back in 10 minutes. Let's say it's 11:44. We'll say it's 11:45. Let's just come back at top of the hour in 15 minutes instead of 10. We'll do 15. Thank you.
Hey, Jim, you need to mute.
Hey, while I got you, I didn't realize that I was unmuted. I had to go back here. I'm not going to be able to keep my camera on except when I'm talking because of the internet here. It slows, sending the video all the time like that slows it way down. So, somebody asked me to turn my video on, but I really can. The audio cuts way out and I miss a lot of what's being said. So anyway, I'm going to mute now. Okay.
Muted.
Screen sharing, start the video. This is a 2-minute warning. The meeting will resume in 2 minutes. This meeting will come to order. Joe Poblinski, Chairman of the Historical Standing Committee. There's one action item presented with this report. Joe, will you please read motion C concerning designating Airstream number 1 a heritage number?
Poblinski, Standing Committee Chair for the Historical Committee. I move that Airstream number 1 be designated a heritage number and be added to the table of approved heritage numbers in policy 16.6.10 Airstream numbers section L. The table in policy 16.6.10 Airstream numbers section L currently reads the approved heritage numbers are. Would you like me to read the full table or just note that number 1 is not currently in the table?
I think we can just note that number 1 is not included in the table.
All right, the table in policy 16.6.10 Airstream numbers section L would then read the approved heritage numbers are, and you'll notice that the number 1 is now in the table.
This motion is from a committee and does not require a second. Please read your rationale and financial impact statement.
Rationale. Airstream number 1 has always belonged to Wally and Stella Byam and will never be issued to anyone else according to Airstream Inc., who controls assignment of numbers 100 and below. Wally Byam was the founder of Airstream, the creator of the Airstream Caravan, the namesake of our club, and the leader of the 1959-60 African Caravan. It is only right that Wally and Stella's number 1 should be formally recognized as a heritage number. Airstream has provided their agreement in writing. This motion is being presented now in hopes that Wally and Stella's number 1 will be recognized as a heritage number when the Airstream Heritage Center opens to the public in the near future. Financial impact statement, none.
Thank you, Joe. Are there any questions or discussion concerning this motion from the board? From the region vice presidents? This is a policy amendment and requires a majority vote in the affirmative to pass. The motion proposes approving the designation of Airstream number 1 as a heritage number and adding it to the chart of heritage numbers in policy 16.6.10 Airstream numbers section L. Are you ready for the question? The vote is on motion C as read. Without objection, motion C as read will be approved. Hearing no objection, motion C is approved. Thank you, Joe. The next order of business is special orders. There are 2 special orders to come before the IBT. The first special order is the election of the IBT Nominating Committee Chair as prescribed in the Constitution, Article XIII, Section 1, page 7. It is the custom of the IBT to elect the immediate past international president as nominating committee chair. Without objection, Mona Heath will be elected as nominating chair. Hearing none, Mona Heath is elected nominating committee chair. Congratulations, Mona. The second special order is the adoption of the budget for 2021. Ty Mott, Chairman of the Budget Committee, will you present the proposed budget?
I'll defer this over to Beth Hackney, our international treasurer.
Beth, please give your report.
I move that the budget for 2020-2021 be adopted as presented. There's a table here. Do you request that I read it?
Yeah, why don't we read the table?
Okay, for income, membership is $598,661. Merchandise sale, caravan support is $40,420. The Blue Beret is $143,450. The International Rally Administration is $5,000. Miscellaneous income interest is $8,700. And inventory expense is $3,500. So the total income is $792,731. The expenses, Blue Beret, are $171,496. Headquarters is $364,660. Member promotion / advertising is $14,030. Insurance tax postage is $38,300. Membership supplies are $43,009. Legal, accounting, banking fees are $43,345. Miscellaneous expense, $3,500. IBT expense, $8,554. International region and board travel is $91,141. The total expenses are $778,035, and then a net profit of $14,696.
Thank you, Beth. I need to do one.
Rationale.
Just wait a second. I need to do one thing. I need to back up. I got ahead of myself here. And let me just say this. Thank you for reading all that. This motion does come from a committee and does not require a second. Please read your rationale and financial impact statement, Beth.
The Budget Committee has provided this proposed budget as a result of the annual meeting and subsequent discussions as prescribed in Article 3, Section 3 of the policies. This budget will provide funding for club operations with estimated income and expenses for the coming year. Members of the IBT have been provided an opportunity to discuss this budget.
Are there any questions or discussion concerning this motion from the board?
Jane Carmichael.
Jane Carmichael?
This is Jane Carmichael, Region 7 President. Regarding special order number 2, and Linda, would you please time me maybe? I have a script and I want to respond to the proposed budget. I do intend to support the budget presented, but I do need to require a little bit of focusing on code item 620. With all kindness and concern toward each region president, I would like to explain why my view is to vote for them, with them, at the cost of Region 7 and its members. The amount of money listed for Code 620 is for region president travel or assigned to the VP, if I understand correctly. Each of you are probably already aware of the amount for your region. I am quite aware of the amount listed under 620 for Region 7. It is $974. $974. Let me ask you to listen to a couple of examples about travel costs that the Region 7 president would use to attend an installation or a rally at each of the 3 clubs that are in Region 7. We include Manitoba, Canada, North Dakota, South Dakota, Minnesota, Wisconsin, and the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. The local clubs are the North Dakota Peace Garden, the Minnesota Airstream Club, and the UP Airstream Club, 3 clubs. The first example you'll hear about was provided by our outgoing Region 7 treasurer, who has served for the past 2 years. Thank you, Gail. Gail also served as your international treasurer for 1 year. To make it really easy and to use her figures, we're going to look at 50 cents a mile. Round trip would be $1 a mile for travel. The road mileage from Marquette, Michigan, where I live, to Bismarck, North Dakota, the capital, and southern central North Dakota, is 829 miles. One way, round trip, I'm sorry, is 1,658 miles. That's $829 for travel at 50 cents a mile. Let's add 2 nights of camping each way, because I can't cover 800 miles in 1 day or 2. Let's add the rally fee. Let's add a bit of a campground fee. Let's see, that's 829, that's 80, and that's 70 with no rally fee. Did you all come up with $979? Remember, Code 620 for Region 7 is 974. Use round trip mileages from Marquette. Williston, North Dakota had their installation scheduled. I believe they're canceling it. September 10, 11, and 12. Round trip to Williston is 2,180 miles. Cavalier, North Dakota, where Don Thompson lives, round trip, 1,288 miles. Fargo, North Dakota, 1,272 miles. That's where we had one of our region rallies. Ely, Minnesota, much better, only 772. Airstream Park, Minnesota, 770. Brussels, Wisconsin, now I can go there, 408 miles. Madison, Wisconsin, 618. Milwaukee, 616. You know, we're recruiting a second VP at this point. It means we want to meet with our members to discuss the role of the second VP, to explain how we operate, to answer questions, to receive input, and to ask for volunteers. With this travel amount of $974, I will not be able to serve Region 7 in the manner I would prefer. However, as mentioned at the start of this script, and I requote, with all kindness and concern toward each region president, I would like to explain why my view is to vote for them, for this proposed budget, with them, but at the cost of Region 7 and its members. Thank you. And thank you, Linda, for timing me.
You want to? Okay. Jane, my reply to you is going to be that yes, in trying to figure out a budget for travel, we've done it several different ways as far as the formula to come up with. We are aware that we basically have 2 units in the system that are regions, I should say, not units, that are slightly underfunded. And this budget increase passes, I think we can adjust that so that you will get enough money to cover that cost, because just putting you in the formula that we use actually doesn't cover your cost, what you're just exactly stating. Now, for pretty much the rest of the regions out there, it does cover their cost. So we do know there's a couple of inefficiencies in it. We changed the system about a year ago that we use how to do this. The one we had before, it was started such a long time ago, nobody knew how they got to where they got at the end with what they all factored in and how they decided what everybody got. It was just there, and we've used that for many, many years, and we didn't feel a couple years ago that that was the correct thing to do. We needed to reevaluate that. We did, and it's gotten better. We actually saw a lot of our costs come down, and but we also had two that did not. So if this budget would pass, this would provide an opportunity to fix the inequality that's there. Any other questions from the board? Jim Johnson?
Hi, this question is about Sense for Youth. There's no item in there for that, and the treasurer's report had a balance of, I think it was 19K or something like that in the Sense for Youth, or Common Sense. So I was just going to ask about that.
Jim, the Common Sense for Kids account is a savings account that we hold the monies in for. They're typically spent at the international rally and or donated depending upon what transpires. But that is not part of our operating budget. We just don't spend that money. A program or a recipient has to be identified before any of those funds are spent. Does that help you?
Yeah, it does, and that's kind of what I suspected, but it looks like we're going to go this year without allocating that to anybody. Is that correct?
No. Correct. We did not have the international rally, so that account's kind of been stagnant for the last year. So correct, nothing has been done with that. That falls under the Family and Youth Committee.
Okay. Thanks.
Next up, Ken Johansson.
Just a question. You mentioned that there are two regions that you feel are underfunded. What's the other one?
Region 10.
Yeah. Okay, because our we cover a large area too.
Correct. Beth Hackney?
I'm just looking at a statement within the bylaws, and it does allow the treasurer to cross-fund within the budget to a limit of 2% as approved by the Board of Trustees. So there is some flexibility to move some funds around as needed. That's what Andy was referring to earlier.
Michael Barraza?
I'd just like to thank Jane for her comments. I would like to point out that Region 10 is 3 provinces, a territory, and 4 states.
Yep.
I'm trying to arrange, in my new position, contact with each of the clubs and to visit them. And it's looks like about 6,000 miles to go to all of them. I'm not bleating, but it is a very large expense, and our club and the international doesn't have any provision for that, so it has to come. It has to come from my own pocket.
Thank you, Michael. Any questions from the region VPs? All right, seeing none. This motion is to adopt the budget for 2020, 2021 and requires a majority vote in the affirmative to pass. Are you ready for the question? Without objection, this motion as read will be approved. Hearing none, this motion is approved. This is the budget for 2020-2021. There's two items of new business. Motion one is from Richard Short and proposes a new flag and logo for the New York Finger Lakes Airstream Club. Richard, please read your motion.
Richard Short, President of Region 2. I move per Article 13, use of club name and emblem, Section 7B, page 23, and Policy 16.6.9, flags and pennants, Section A, page 39, that the International Board of Trustees approve the request of the New York Finger Lakes Airstream Club number 002 to change its logo and club flag, and you have the images there.
Is there a second?
Region 8 seconds, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mike Sisk. Are there any questions or discussion concerning this motion from the board? From the region vice presidents? This motion will require a majority vote in the affirmative to pass. The motion approves a new flag and logo for the New York Fingers Lake Airstream Club. Are you ready for the question? The vote is on motion one as read. Without objection, motion one as read will be approved. Hearing none, this motion is approved.
Thank you.
Thank you. The chair recognizes Tom Smithson, Constitution and Bylaws Chair.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have a motion which is necessary as a consequence of the recent budget and dues change. I move that WBCCI policy 4.9.2 international dues section A and B be deleted in their entirety and replaced with a new section A and B. Policy 4.9.2 international dues section A and B now read: A, international dues for new members joining during the first quarter of the calendar year will be $65. During the second quarter, $48. The third quarter, $32 plus $65, and the fourth quarter, $16 plus $65. The third and fourth quarter payment includes the balance of the current year's dues and the next year's dues. All payments will be in U.S. funds. B, international dues for new members at large joining during the first quarter of the calendar year will be $65. During the second quarter, $48. The third quarter, $32 plus $65, and the fourth quarter, $19 plus $65. In addition, all payments will include the current established member at large fee, $15. The third and fourth quarter payment includes the balance of the current year's dues and the next year's dues. All payments will be in U.S. funds. Policy 4.9.2 international dues section A and B would then read: A, international dues for new members joining during the first quarter of the calendar year will be $75. During the second quarter, $56. The third quarter, $37 plus $75, and the fourth quarter, $18 plus $75. The third and fourth quarter payments include the balance of the current year's dues and the next year's dues. All payments will be in U.S. funds. International dues for new members at large joining during the first quarter of the calendar year will be $75. During the second quarter, $56. The third quarter, $37 plus $75. And the fourth quarter, $18 plus $75. In addition, all payments will include the current established member at large fee, $15. The third and fourth quarter payment includes the balance of the current year's dues and the next year's dues. All payments will be in U.S. funds. Thank you.
This motion is from a committee and does not require a second. Please read your rationale and financial impact statement.
Rationale: the dues increase of June 27, 2020 requires an adjustment of the prorated membership dues. This motion provides the new values. Financial impact: this motion reflects the additional income to WBCCI as a result of the membership dues increase. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Are there any questions or discussion concerning this motion from the board? All right, seeing none from the region vice presidents. This is a policy amendment and requires a majority vote in the affirmative to pass. The motion amends policy 4.9.2, international dues, section A and B by deleting section A and B and inserting a new section A and B. Are you ready for the question? The vote is on motion number 2 as read. Without objection, motion 2 as read will be approved. Hearing none, this motion is approved. Is there any further business? Hearing none, this virtual IBT meeting is adjourned. I have a few announcements. Hey, it works. Per Hamquist, International Third Vice President, has chosen to accept a 3-digit number. His Airstream number will be 154. Hey. Members who serve a minimum of 3 years as standing committee chairs may request a 700 series number upon completion of their third report at the IBT meeting at the start of the International Rally. Joe Poblinski, chair of the Historical Committee, has requested such a number. His Airstream number will be 702.
Yay.
It is customary at this time for incoming region presidents to draw a new 3-digit number. Some region presidents may choose to keep their current Airstream number. For those who wish a new number this year due to the COVID-19, the drawing is being conducted here at headquarters. Lori, would you please announce the new numbers that have been drawn for the region presidents who request a 3-digit number?
All right, so we're gonna actually do a drawing here. The staff made a fancy top hat. I don't know if you can see it. They're really creative. We got a fancy top hat. We have the available numbers in there. And from what my understanding, Doug Hart, Region 1, has chosen not to take a new number. So then next up we have Region 3, which is Bill Wild. The numbers that are available are 212, 217, 218, 219, 221, and 246. I can't see the shorty. Okay, so Bill Wild, big drum roll. You are now 217. Can you write that down for us?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, thank you. Sorry guys, you're winging it.
Thank you.
Chris Seplak has asked for a new number. Chris, you are 246.
246, thank you.
Jane Carmichael. Where'd you go on our screen? There you are. You've asked for a new number. You checking around though? I can't. I feel like I. Jane Carmichael, you are now 219.
Thank you very much.
So next we have Region 9, which is Bill Miller. Bill is number 212.
Thank you. Next
Next we have Michelle. Michelle is jumping into this mix because of, well, he wasn't here last time, right? I mean, that's the easiest way. So I understand Michelle wants a new number. Right, region 10, so 218 is your new number.
Gracias.
And then region 11, Ken Johansson, your new number is 221. And then Andy gets and then Andy gets a new top hat.
Thanks.
And there is your big red numbers. We will get these cut on Monday for y'all. And either that one, Barb or Amanda. I'm sorry, I'm tired. It's a long week. Barb or Amanda will reach out, make sure we know where y'all are, and we'll get them mailed out to you.
We'll ask them for the size too.
Oh, yeah. And the size of the numbers you need.
Thank you, Lori and Barb, for handling that this year. I know that was different, but that's okay. We're going to make it work. We will now have announcements from the board members. Please be mindful of the time. As a reminder of the time, the chair asks that a yellow card be held up at the 2-minute mark and the bell rung and a red card held up at the 3-minute mark. Again, as a reminder, let's start with Region 12.
Thank you, Andy. I requested that because I've got a husband and 2 9-year-old boys waiting to take off to go camping. So I just want to again thank my first and second vice presidents for their support and their input, especially in helping me make a decision on the dues increase. I really appreciate that. And of course, I want to thank my right-hand man of 52 years, Bob, for his support and hooking up and unhooking the trailer and all that kind of stuff. I don't mind driving it. I love driving it, but I don't like unhooking and all that other stuff, the dirty stuff. So anyway, I'll wish you all a goodbye and good health, and take it easy in the next months of travel if you get to. So I'm signing off. Bye.
Thank you, Cecilia.
You're
Next
welcome.
up, Region 11, Ken Johansson.
Thank you. Region 11 and myself, I'm extremely lucky to have a really good first and second vice president, Steve Parr being first, and John Hawley, who you all know very well, is our second. And we have been working really great as a team. We met prior to this meeting. We have the text going back and forth. And so I'm very, very lucky to have these two guys help me out during these next 2 years. And I'm honored to be the president of Region 11. And I do plan on getting around to, between the three of us, we will make sure that we cover all of the units within our region and more, as much as we can. So I thank you.
Thank you, Ken. Next up, Region 10.
I'm not really Region 10. I'm just a figurehead. Region 10 is my Vice President, Rhonda Levine, the past president, Terry Warren, my secretary, Maria Fira, Ray Schmidt, my treasurer, Melody Simrel, membership chair, Kara Godeking, our newsletter editor, and Carolyn Beardshire, our webmaster, Tom Ackham, our caravan master. It's to make the club a reality in my region. I'm trying to organize a trip to go through all 4 states and 3 provinces with this GD coronavirus, the border crossing and the complications. It's difficult, but I think together we'll get it done. Nice meeting you all, and thank you for your patience. And the conversations have been enlightening. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael, Michelle. Appreciate you stepping up and filling the position there and taking this on. Region 9, Bill Miller.
Region 9 has a full slate of officers this year. We have first vice president Nancy Fitzgerald and second vice president Scott Graham. I'd like to invite everyone to our region rally in April of next year, April 13th to 18th in Mineola Civic Center in Mineola, Texas. That's where it was supposed to be this year, and hopefully we'll be able to have that next year.
Thank you, Bill. Region 8.
Yeah, I'd like to congratulate Andy and all the new executive committee members. I'd like to thank my first VP and only VP at this point, Greg Vadner. He and I have been also texting a lot and talking about different ideas on how to improve retention in our units and locating a second VP for the region. Our next year Region 8 rally will be in the Amana colonies. I don't have the exact dates. It'll be the end of April, into the 2nd of May. Amana colonies will celebrate their MyFest on May the 1st, and we plan on attending that. So if anybody's interested, stay tuned. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. I will put a plug in for you. I've been to that campground before there. It's very nice, and they got lots of parking. It's almost big enough. If they had more buildings, I think we might could do an international rally there. They just don't have the buildings, but it's a great place to go.
Yep, they'd love to hold it.
All right, number 7, Region 7.
Hi to everyone, and thank you for my new number. I appreciate 219. I think I'll be able to remember it today. I wrote it down. Region 7 is planning a dynamic year next year. We'll culminate with a region rally in August in Marquette, and it's just a replay from this year. It will be August 19 to 24, and you're all welcome to come to the Upper Peninsula to enjoy that. We had 57 sites reserved this year. Who knows what will happen next year? They've all been rolled over, so we'll see. We had launched yesterday a Region 7 newsletter. I certainly invite you to look at it. There hasn't been a Region 7 newsletter really for about, 4 years. I think 2016 was the last. There's a photo you need to go look at. You don't need to read any of it. Well, read it all and look at the mask. It was made by a mystery Region 7 member. So hope to see you up here. And my wonderful, outstanding, excellent Region 7 Vice President is going to close this up from Region 7. Beth Zelton.
We're going to turn her on, are we?
Please.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Can you hear me? Great. This is Beth Zelton, Region 7. I just wanted to thank everyone for orchestrating this week of meetings. It was so good to interact with you all. Ken and I have been driving truck throughout this awful pandemic and doing well, staying healthy. But with the nice weather, it's time for a break. We plan a small get-together with a few Airstreams from the Wisconsin unit over the 4th of July at a member's house that has courtesy parking. I'm sure the discussion will be on the rescheduled Region 7 rally for next year in Marquette and the future Region 7 rally for 2022 in Chippewa Falls, Wisconsin. We miss the international so much and the friends that come with it. So we're super excited to get together. And also just wanted to double say that Jane mentioned that newsletter for Region 7. Please go ahead and check it out. We'd love your opinions on it. It's really fun to re-resurrect it and let our units know, our clubs know what's going on. So thank you all. I look forward to next year. See you down the road.
Thank you, Region 7. Region 6.
Okay, I'm gonna do accolades first. We've got a full slate of officers also. We have a new webmaster, Steve Paget from the Alabama unit has taken that on, and I want to give a big shout out to Ronnie Erb, the old one who did our webmaster for many years, as long as I can remember. And we appreciate his efforts a whole lot and wish him a good retirement from it. 2 national rallies that are not canceled so far in Region 6, that's Storytelling and Old Fiddlers. Unfortunately, they're both the same weekend, first weekend in October. Actually, the rally part of Old Fiddlers starts in late September. Right now, we are still planning for the Region 6 rally the second week, 8th through the 13th of October in Natchez, Mississippi / Vidalia, Louisiana. It's not canceled yet. I don't know what to think now that they've canceled balloon at probably the same time. It may affect us. So anyway, that's all. I'll make it brief, and thanks so much. And I think you guys did a great job in making this Zoom thing work in spite of all the adversities. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Region number 5.
Hello, everybody. Want to thank my region for putting me as the caretaker of the region right now. Want to thank Artie Martin, my first vice president, and all my officers that we're doing the best we can right now with this COVID. Called all my presidents, and we still have 10 rallies scheduled for our region that are still going. So I think that's fantastic right now. Want to thank the executive committee. Thank you for all you do. Andy, if you're ever up here visiting your family, please stop in up here. We appreciate it. Want to thank the office. You ladies do a fantastic job. And our Region 5 rally is still on as of right now for September 16th through 20th at the Bartholomew County Fairgrounds in Columbus, Indiana. So please sign up. I will probably make a decision on it probably the 2nd or 3rd week of July if we're going to have it. So thank you, everybody, and we'll see you down the road. Thanks.
Thank you, Chris. Region 4.
Thank you, Andy. First of all, congratulations to you and to all of the officers that were installed last evening. Nice job planning the virtual event, Mona and John Holloway. I want to recognize and thank my Region 4 officers, Brad Brigg, First Vice President, and Fred Keel, Second Vice President, as well as all my committee chairmen. Special thanks to my husband, Wally, for all he does and continues to do to support me. And finally, I have a letter that I would like to read. The letter is addressed to Mona Heath, Nominating Committee Chair, and the members of the Nominating Committee, Victoria Magnaca and Mark Hammer. I would like to submit my name for consideration as International Third Vice President to be elected at the 2021 International Rally to be held in Lebanon, Tennessee. Although I have contributed at the local club level, the region level, and at international rallies, I still would like to do more. I feel my experience both within the club and in my personal life as a leader and organizer make me a viable candidate as an international officer. As an international officer, my goals are to listen to our members and continue what we as an international club are doing well, and to search out equitable solutions to address issues and concerns that they are identified. To utilize our new website to keep our members informed and to attract new members. To grow the base and increase the benefits to our lifetime members. They have committed to the club and we need to commit to them. To promote and utilize the WBCCI Foundation to expand its reach within and its contribution to the club. I am willing to serve should I be elected, and I look forward to the opportunity to continue my service to this great organization. See you down the road. Travel safe.
Thank you, Karen. Region 3, Bill Wild.
Well, that's a tough act to follow. Thank you, Karen. I wish you your best as you are considered among other nominees for next year. Well, here in Region 3, as you know, we had to cancel this year's rally along with everybody else. We being my great team, we are 3 deep this year. Chris Baum from the Spirit of Virginia unit is my 1 VP, and Jerry Peterson from the South Carolina Coastal is my 2nd VP. So I'm glad to have both of them aboard, and we're looking forward to let's see here, Tallahassee in 2021. 21 through 25 April is the date that we currently have set up with the North Florida Fairgrounds down there. If the pandemic progress turns out that we're able to have that rally, then that's the next one up. And we are already having a long-term look at the Charlotte, North Carolina International Raceway for 2022, and that ought to be a lot of fun too if we can make that one happen. This year was going to be the final year, the 20th anniversary of the Galax Festival, National Festival, the special event that was held in Galax, Virginia every year in conjunction with the Old Fiddlers Convention. That didn't happen. Betty Patton, who was the longtime sponsor of that, along with Julian and Lynn Clements, wanted to have a 20th year. Junior Patton, her husband, didn't want to, and so he won. But we all lost because it's always been a great rally. So let's see here. I just really don't have a whole lot other than that. We are just looking forward to getting on the road and meeting some more of our units, getting as far north as Virginia and as far south as South Florida over the next 2 years. And I'm sure that we're going to be able to have a great time, although following in the shoes of John Leake is a challenge, to say the least. He is definitely the cheerleader. I'll do the best I can to maintain the enthusiasm. That's all I have, and thank you very much.
You're muted. Okay. Thank you, Bill.
Thank you, Bill. Region 2.
Hi, Richard Short, President of Region 2, and I just want to ditto the welcome to all the new incoming officers, both on the Executive Committee and the region officers coming in onto the IBT. Also want to offer a welcome and thank you to our Region 2 First VP RJ Marquette from Washington, D.C. And again, Gary Russo from the New York Finger Lakes Airstream Club coming in as 2nd VP. Also want to offer the congratulations to the newly named Pennsylvania Airstream Club, the Ontario, Canada Airstream Club, and also congratulations to the New York Finger Lakes Airstream Club on the approval of their new logo and new flag. Thank you for pushing your units forward and making Region 2 even stronger. Thank you for that. Also want to just thank the rest of the officers that serve on the Region 2 board, the treasurer, and all our other committees. I won't name them because I'm afraid I'll miss 1 or 2, but you know who you are. And I greatly, greatly appreciate all the support you've given me this last year before and look forward going forward. I'll say that I'm very thankful that myself and my family are all healthy and we are not sick from the COVID, but man, we are all sick and tired of it. There's still some stuff going on. We still have some things posted for scheduling, but as you know, New Jersey, New York, this area has really been hit hard. There's still a lot of lockdowns in place, so please watch the calendars and scheduling to see what's on and if any decisions are made, that would averse that going forward. And just a note to the incoming region officers, just to say that the constitution of the club gives the IBT and therefore the region officers who make up the majority of the IBT broad powers in supervision and overseeing the club, both all the committees and whatnot. So I say, read through the Constitution, know what powers you have, do a good job to do your best to represent your region, and don't be afraid to bring forth your ideas to the club when you have something in your heart that you think will be a benefit to the club and the members. And I want to thank those who have been echoing the call to increase the benefits to our members. And I hope to see that is pushed forward in the coming years. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Richard. Next up is Region 1, and I just want to say, Doug, you'll be the last region president to speak, but when I looked at all the pictures up there, you by far have the best background, and I'm going to vote you number 1, the Chevrolet tow truck with the gold bow tie. Makes my heart run, man. Looks good. Yeah. Ford lovers and Dodge lovers. Doug, you got it.
Well, I just wish it were not a background and it was where I actually am. On behalf of all the members of Region 1, I speak, and I'd like to first thank Mona for all she did to get us through a very challenging year. Mona, thank you very much. I also have the honor of succeeding Per Hamquist, and congratulations, Per, on your election as International 3rd Vice President. Per, he did a great job in really professionalizing how Region 1 is run, and I'm on his coattails because all the appointees have agreed to serve again this year, so you made my job very easy. Lastly, we've agreed, the 2 vice presidents, myself, which is Bart Fuller and RJ Dominic, on complicated issues, we're going to work as a team. We are going to take a straw vote, and the winner is going to be how the region votes. And an example of that would be the dues increase. I candidly was against the dues increase, but my 2 vice presidents both were in favor of it, so that's how we voted. So that's the news from Region 1. Thank you. Look forward to working with all of you, and I sure hope we get to see each other down the road very soon. Thank you.
Thank you. We're done with region officers. Let's go to parliamentarian Joanne Miller.
Oh my gosh, I'm so used to being last.
Got a new sheriff in town.
After several old ones, right?
Right, yeah.
I want to thank President Andy for giving me the chance to work with him again. I was his parliamentarian when he was Region 9 president, so I know his little quirks and the things that he may try to get away with between the 2 of us, but ain't gonna happen, Sheriff.
Watch it.
I also want to thank everybody, I mean, headquarters, the IBT board, for your patience and your understanding as we're working through the glitches when we have Zoom meetings. We've made a lot of progress. We still have some progress to make, but we're all working together. We're all hanging in there, and we're being patient. So thank you for that. And of course, thank you to my husband who supports me. And now I guess it's my turn to support him as Region 9, so president. So it will be a team effort, because I'm sure there will be times when we'll get angry with each other or not, but we'll hang in there. We've survived COVID-19, so we'll survive the next 2 years. Thank you.
Thank you, Joanne. I'm going to call on Lori Plummer next.
Why?
Why? Just because I'm in charge on this.
Okay, then.
Got the order picked out.
All right,
You're
well,
up.
thanks, Andy. So thanks everybody for being here and being patient with us during this week. You know, the other day, John Lee got me pretty flustered, and he does good at doing that. And I forgot to thank my team. just not my team, but our team, Barb, Barb and Amanda and Deb, all do a great job, and we can't do what we do if we didn't work as a team. So I just want to thank everybody for that. And that's about all we got. So Ohio is opening up. Please come visit us. It is hard to get a campsite someplace around here because they're getting very busy. Everybody wants to camp. But please come and stop and see us when you're in big old Jackson Center, Ohio. That's all I got.
Thank you, Lori. Mona Heath, you're up.
Well, I thought that after the last 4 years, I would have run out of words, but I didn't. Andy, you did a fantastic job today. Lori, Barb, and Deb and Amanda, you guys are incredible. You do the work of more than 4. And to all of the new board of trustees, congratulations. I look forward to working alongside you. And I just have 3 things. Yesterday before, only 3, but you know, I have that word that I like, it's kindness. Before the call started last night, I got a call from Stephen Parr. And I'm in Texas now, so I can say it, bless your heart for doing that. It made me very happy. After the installation, I think both of these people are listening. Actually, all 3 of them. Vernon Goodwin III forwarded me an email from his father, Vern Goodwin, past international president, number 131. That made me cry. And Bard Fuller, I'm going to say it was on behalf of your father, but you know how much I cared for your dad, John, and your email made me cry again. And then Tim thought he did some wrong, so it had nothing to do with that. But the kindness that I have experienced, I hope all of you receive that through your journey in these roles. And that's all I got. That's all the words I have. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you, Mona. Thank you. Thank you. Next up, I'm going to call on my secretary, Judy Bechtold. Her job is just starting, and as soon as this meeting is over with, I'm sure she will be sitting down at her computer, and Ken will be proofreading all her typographical errors, and she will get the minutes done in a day, I'm sure. So, Judy, the floor is yours. No pressure.
Oh, Andy, I would thank you for me being here, but I don't think it was you as much as it was Barb. They came out to a region rally in California, Region 12 rally, and Barb says Andy needed somebody. And I said, well, I'm sure somebody in Texas could do this. And she gave me enough wine. I finally said yes. So thank you, Andy.
Thank you.
And as most people know, the secretary's job is progressive because I started out under, of course, Barb and then Eileen. And of course, I have big shoes to fill with Vicki. Courtney, and I am not going to fill those shoes as quickly because I've got to pack and get the trailer ready in 2 days and get on the road. So the minutes are going to be, for this meeting will be prepared as we travel to Lebanon. So I usually thank my husband when I was on the board as a region officer, my husband Ken, for him being my driver. Well, today he's my IT man and I appreciate it. So that's some of the things we have to keep in mind as things continue to change. I want to acknowledge Linda Shelton. She's our upcoming secretary next year, and she's our timekeeper, and she's going to keep me sane this year, I think. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Judy. Next up, Beth Hackney. My treasure.
I'm last.
Yeah.
But not least.
But no.
Yeah, I just have a couple things this year. I know for you can go as anticipated in any way, shape, or form, but she got us through it and it all held together, and we did it. So thank you, Mona. We appreciate it. And then I want to congratulate Andy and say that I'm happy to be here to help him too. And the only last thing I have is I want to talk a little bit about the midwinter IBT that Matt's working on. I hope that you plan on joining us in 2021 at the midwinter IBT in Sarasota. we will be returning to the Sarasota County Fairgrounds. And many of you may have visited that at the 2018 Midwinter. The event will be held January 18th to the 21st, departing on the 22nd. Our contract on the fairgrounds is actually at the same rate as 2018. And the fairgrounds have fully refunded fees for all events canceled due to the pandemic, and they currently are not requiring a deposit. So we will be closely monitoring the conditions and ensuring the cost structure means that we have a break-even event. We'll post more details soon, and if you have any questions, contact Matt, my better half, who keeps me straight. So thank you all very much.
Thank you, Beth. Let's go to Per Hamquist.
So I'd like to start by thanking my wife Lily for providing me with all the support that is needed to be a volunteer in this club. I would also like to thank this great family for welcoming me into the club 22 years ago and still letting me volunteer and serve our members. It really is a big part of our lives. I'm very happy to report that Region 1 is in great shape with Doug and the other region officers and the volunteers that work around them. So I feel like we're in good shape. As you know, I'm taking over the Long Range Planning Committee, and if you have any interest in being part of that process, send me a message offline. I'd like to include you in the process as well. Thank you so much to all the members for electing me. I hope I'll be leaving this place in a little bit better than when I joined it. Thank you.
Thank you, Per. Eric McHenry, second vice president.
Yeah, I just wanted to also thank everyone. I have been just so impressed by this board, starting with you, Mona, and then Andy and the rest of you, for how we were able to pivot this year due to COVID. That is remarkable to think about where we've come, how fast we've come in the last, as far as we've come in the last year. I think though, what I want to say though today though is a thank you to the people who brought their opinions forward before the meeting, after the meeting, on some of these difficult topics. I'll name some of, Ken, John Holly, Jane, Richard, Karen, on the topics of lifetime membership and on dues increase. These are really important topics. And I thought a number of people raised some excellent questions and hard questions to answer. I hope you guys appreciated my presentation. It was the way it was because of the questions you guys asked. And I think that's really important. We are stewards of our membership. They expect us to represent them, even if we're just a camping club, and I just been really impressed by the question you guys have asked. I think some we answered well. I believe some that we have not answered adequately yet. But I just really appreciate all the feedback. It's a good group to work on and work with, and it makes our results better when you guys ask those questions. Just finally, just congratulations to the new Big Red numbers. You'll start to see in our websites and our marketing stuff, we're really highlighting the Big Red numbers, the Big Red things on our images, and congrats to all you with new numbers. And I just can't leave this without saying thanks to Lori and Barb and Amanda. I speak to Lori, actually I speak to Laverne, my wife, more than I speak to Lori, but it's a bit of a toss-up sometimes of who I speak to first in the morning. They do a phenomenal job, and thank you guys for everything you do. I've learned a ton from all of you on this board, and I'm looking forward. And Linda, I see you with that yellow card. I love it. So I'm done.
Thank you, Eric. Ty Mott, first vice president.
I'd like to say thank you to Mona for bringing us through this so far, and she's done a great job. I want to congratulate Andy and all the other international officers that have been in charge. This last night's ceremony, you guys are all in for a great journey. I'm looking forward to working with all of you. We all won't agree all the time, but we can definitely get the point of business done and over with and get back to camping. But everybody have a great day, and I will give this back to Andy.
Okay, thank you, Ty. Unless I missed somebody, I believe I've covered everybody that was here, but
John Holly's got his hand.
John Holly? Okay, John Holly, you got 1 minute. Go.
John Hollis, 11 Region 2nd Vice President. Hey guys, I want to thank Mona and Andy and Barry and Lori for assisting with the virtual installation last night. I think it went very smoothly, although Mona did drop her papers on the floor, but other than that, I think we're in good shape. And I want to thank them for that. I think these virtual hookups worked very well. One thing, with permission of Ken in Region 11, the balloon fiesta has been canceled, as you may not know, to October 2021 due to the COVID crisis. Also, we canceled our Region 11 rally this year. We're not having one. We're waiting until 2021. And the last thing I want to say very quickly is, as the very astute and esteemed officers once told me, what is said in these meetings stays in these meetings. When Region 11, as we discussed the discrepancies in the budget and the increase and all that sort of thing, we did want to bring up some points and for discussion, and that's the reason for it. But I want you to know, without a roll call, that Ken, as president of Region 11, did vote to approve the budget. So we're on board and we're looking forward to this new year. Thank you all, everyone.
Thank you, John. I guess it's down to me now, correct, girls?
Yes.
We're on, all right.
It's all you.
It's all me. Well, I just want to say thank you to all the people that are serving this year on this board. I look forward to continuing to work with you, and I think we've got a great group of individuals put together, and I think we've got a lot of great second vice presidents and first vice presidents, and it's good to hear that we have a lot of these positions filled. I know in some previous years we've only had one person maybe, and that was the president, and that was it. And so I'm glad that we are able to get these positions filled. I do want to thank my favorite companion who I'm holding right here, Coco. She travels there everywhere with me, and she makes the days go by real fast, especially when she sleeps. So it's all good. I do want to announce that registration for the Lebanon Rally will begin August the 5th. That's when we will open up registration, and that's when you can go online, go to the website, fill your stuff out.
Correct.
We'll gladly take your credit card. If you do want to mail it in, I guess you can still mail it in, but that is the plan. So August the 5th, registration for the Lebanon Rally will open up. I do hope that I can see a lot of you down the road. Hopefully the travel will slowly be coming back. I myself personally have been traveling since about May the 4th. And have not been in Texas for a long while. Don't plan to go back. It's too hot down there. I'm going to stay up here where it's cooler. I've been in Ohio twice now, and I've enjoyed it here. Haven't had to run the AC hardly at all. So it's just been great traveling. And I do want to say hats off to Brad Briggs, Region 4 second or first VP. He called me earlier this morning and said, hey, after the meeting, you want to come over to my house and we'll go get some food and have some fun? And I said, you bet, send me the address, just a few miles from the home office here. So I'm going to go spend some good time with Brad. So I want to just say thank you to him, and just thank you to all. Do everything that you can. I know every place is different where we go, but as things open up, do your best to, even if we have to continue doing these virtual meetings, this really, if you'd have told me that 6 months ago we'd all be sitting here doing this, I'd have laughed at you. So it's all great. It's all good. And we're going to have a lot of fun this year. So please keep up the good work. Keep your chin up and keep these ideas from everybody coming in. It's good to hear what everybody has to say. And with that, I am going to say that this will conclude the IBT virtual meeting and announcements for June 27, 2020. And thank you for attending these meetings. And we will see every one of you down the road somewhere. Thanks.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.